Okay, Crystal, here's the one that I did. And I'm going to make these bottom panel options be a little bit bigger just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is your original logo right here, and I'm going to use that layer. Now remember, that's type. Okay, so we don't want to play or mess around with the type. What we want to do is to copy that layer. So I'm going to copy it, lock it, and hide the original. Okay, now I'm going to click on the one that's there. You can tell that it's a text layer, okay, because you can see the underline here. Like I could retype the K. But what I want to do is go to type and create outlines. Okay, now I have it as a shape. It's no longer letters. All right, now I can actually cut it apart. I can move it. I can do what I want to it. Okay, now I may have to remove the fill for a little bit, and that's going to be up to you. It's just a dark gray fill anyway, and you can make it anything you want. But I'm going to hit the E key to transform it. Okay, so in the E key, I'm just going to move it up like this and a little bit wider so it kind of looks correct here. And I'm just going to eyeball it into the center. And that's about where I had it. Let's see how close I am. Let me see the group that I had. So there, yeah, I'm really close to where I had it. Okay, so now that I have it in place, I want to duplicate it again. So I'm going to take this one because I'm going to cut it apart, and I don't want to have to redo all what I just did. So I'm going to duplicate it again, lock and hide the one that I moved, and now I can play with this one. I should throw this one away because it's the one I did and I'm redoing it. So now pretend this one up here doesn't exist. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to zoom in. Now, what I want to do is to take this shape and remove it from being a compound path. Okay, I don't want it to be a compound path. I want it to just be paths that I can play with and join together. I'll make it back into a compound path, and it has to be a compound path. Well, actually it doesn't. But, well, yes, it does. No, it doesn't. But because this hole is going to end up being cut, and that's the only reason why it would need to be a compound path. Okay, so long story short, I'm going to go to, with it selected, Object Compound Path Release. Now it's not a compound path. And I don't care about the fill yet. So I'm going to take the fill to nothing. Now I can cut all this apart. Okay, very easily. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into where I want to cut. So I take the C key for scissors and I cut it. That point right there is right where I want to cut it. So I'm going to click on that point and I'm going to click right over here. Look at that. And I just clicked the C key on there. I move down to the bottom and I click right about there and I click right about there. Now what I want to do is to lock up this one and this one. I want to hide those two for a second. So if I go inside here in the layer palette with these two selected, do you see the ones I want to hide? I'll hide them for now, there and there. Beautiful. Now it lets me actually join these together very easily. So hit the P key. And I might have to zoom in and move things around and make them cleaner, but click this one and just join it together. See that? Now let's just pick it up and I'll just move it to where it's just above that line right here. And I might be making some custom moves in a minute. Okay, and it's important for this. Crystal, hit the P key for the pen tool, then hit A, then go back to P so that your toggle switch on the Command or Control key is the direct selection. Okay, now let's go do the same thing here. Remember, I hid those other two pieces. Okay, so now in the P key, all you got to do is click to join this and click to join that. Now it's joined as a shape. Okay, now let me hold the Command key or Control key. Just click this point with the direct selection tool and move it down so it's in the right place. And again, I'll have to custom move a couple of things. Okay, so a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and then this one down just a little bit more. And then you can play with where it's going to be. Okay, great. Now I'm going to lock up that shape. See that shape right there? I'm locking it up. Okay, now I'm going to show the two paths that I had right here. Okay, so now that path right here has to be joined in for that path. So what I want to do now that I'm thinking about it is just turn off the top shape. Okay, cool. Now let me take the pen tool and click and join in that one right there. Now I'm going to move it, but I'll custom move it in a minute to join up and match up to where the other one is, because I'm probably just moving it a little bit too much left and right. But let's go down here, and now let's take the pen, just click and click. Okay, good. Now let's move that up a little bit, and let's hold this down and move that up. Remember that your toggle switch is the direct selection tool. Okay, cool. That shape needs to get put behind everything else. So that shape, see where it is right there? See that? I'm going to just take that and say behind. And then I'm going to move it down to the bottom, below everything. Okay, now that shape is going to get filled, but the opacity of it's going to be much, much less. So I'll go back to the fill that you had just about right there. That was just about what you had on the fill. Okay, now let me take this to about, look at, I'm clicking the whole thing. See that right there? I click the whole circle, and I go to an opacity of about 20%. Now, I may make it a little bit more, but now let's lock it up. Now I can go back to the other one, wherever I put it. I put it right here and unlock it. Now let's get close, and then I'm going to put this one and leave it either 100% or whatever you want. You didn't have it at 100%, you had it at something less. But look at, I'm really close here. See, I actually really close. So let me just move this over slightly, move it over slightly. Okay, perfect. Let's lift this up slightly and move it over slightly. That's really nice. Let's go down to the bottom and look, oh wow, I'm already right where I want to be. Okay, so now let's do the same fill on this one just about. Okay, now you had that, and there's your shape. See, that's how you did it. That's how I do it. So if you want to take away some of the opacity on it, that's up to you. If you want to make this have a little bit more opacity, oh, I have to unlock it. That's up to you. Okay, so I'll put this back at about 25 or 30% opacity. And now you can see how it looks like it goes in behind a semi-transparent circle. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I love it, and it was easy to do, and I'm going to have to put this on YouTube and send you the link, okay? So if you have any other questions, let me know. I hope I didn't go too fast. Don't forget to lock and unlock things, and as you can see, I don't need to make it back into a compound path. If I did, all I would have to do is click the bottom shape here, crystal, and just go to Object, Compound Path, and Make. But nothing's going to happen. And the only reason you have a compound path is because when a letter like an E or an A has an inside, then the inside becomes a hole, right? Well, I didn't need to make it into a compound path, or the C. Okay, so there you go. That's how I did it, and I hope that helped.